Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes were this close to making the college football playoffs. I'll explain. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network out there. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Hey, hit that free subscribe button down below so you never miss the single episode that we do every day. We do them every day. And if you can also share, follow, and like, that'll help us out too. Plus, you could hype YouTube videos as well. So the Hawkeyes are a playoff caliber football team, but they're not going to make it. Kirk Ferentz, always good, always underrated. And that was the case. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll give you a heads up on what we're going to do here this weekend. But, it was quick. It was quick. We had been clamoring for a couple of weeks now for the Iowa Hawkeyes to be ranked in the Associated Press Top 25. We thought they should be ranked. We thought they were worthy. Then last week, the first college football playoff poll came out. The only poll that matters at this point, by the way, new one coming out tonight. And the nameless Iowa Hawkeyes were not only in the top 25, they were 20th with a true path to make the college football playoffs. And I say nameless with all due respect and fascination because the average person outside of middle America can't name 3 Iowa football players to save their lives, at least not before Saturday's nationally televised game last weekend versus 9th-ranked Oregon. And what a game that was. But sadly for Hawkeyes fans, Iowa just came up a hair short in that game. And they've been a hair short to the best 3 opponents on their schedule so far this year. And any one of those losses, had they been wins, just the fact that they lost all 3, that cost them a chance at making the playoffs. Had they won 1, they would have been in. And they lost 3 of them by a sliver. Painfully, Hawkeye fans. We can go back to the September 6th loss at Iowa State, 16-13. Cyclones kicking a 54-yard field goal, breaking a tie with 1:52 to go. Took the loss. Late September, the Hawkeyes had now number 2 Indiana on the ropes. Absolutely on the ropes. That game was tied at 13. Iowa even missed a field goal late that would have given them the lead. And then Indiana punched it in with a 49-yard touchdown with 1:30 to go and gave them a 20-15 win after a safety at the end of the game. That close again. Then there was the heartbreaker on Saturday in the freezing rain at Kinnick Stadium versus number 9 Oregon. Win that game Saturday, and the Hawkeyes would be very much in the playoff hunt because, again, they were ranked 20th. The Ducks were ranked 9th. Had they beat the Ducks, they probably would have pulled the Ducks into the mid-teens. Iowa would have been ranked a little bit ahead of them, knocking on the door, trying to get into the playoffs, making the top 10 to get in. I've argued, I know it's a 12-team playoff, but you got to be in the top 10 because the ACC champion is not going to be in the top 12. And then the group of 5, the highest ranked, whatever they got there, they're not going to be ranked either. So you really got to get into the top 10 if you're one of the traditional Power 4 schools to get into the playoffs. And they needed that win against Oregon to do that. And, of course, kicker Atticus Sappington hit the 39-yarder, 3 seconds to go. It was in the rain, and Iowa wins the game 18-16. And look, it looked like it was going to be Iowa's day. It really did. I even predicted in our Pigskin Picks. I thought we had an upset brewing. And, look, we came close. Mark Gronowski capping off a 12-play, 93-yard drive with a 3-yard touchdown to give the Hawkeyes a 16-15 lead with 1:51 to go. The Hawkeyes did go for 2 there. They just missed on that. By the way, that was the right decision. But it left the door open for Oregon to march down and then go kick a field goal. A couple of weird things from that game. The Ducks ran for 261 yards against the Iowa defense that only gives up 83 yards a game. So that was an anomaly. The funny thing was that Iowa only rushed for 101 yards on the day. To the Ducks defense credit, I guess, right? I thought that would be Iowa's advantage with the weather that they would be able the ones running the ball, and you take the ball out of Dante Moore's hand. And by the way, he couldn't pass in the second half. So don't get me wrong. The Ducks are excellent at running the ball too. So they both needed to start running the football in that slop and that rain. And Dante Moore was very limited in his passing, just 112 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. But in fact, Mark Gronowski outpassed him with 138 yards and a touchdown in that game. But if not for those 3 razor-thin games that came down to the wire, the Hawkeyes would be in the driver's seat for a playoff spot in the 12-team field with a big game against USC coming up this weekend. So now it's time to play spoiler. USC, Michigan State, Nebraska, and then it's off to a pretty good bowl game, at least, but it's not going to be a college football playoff game. It's not going to be the same. Anyway, look, people always underestimate Iowa, and they're not flashy, but they are fundamentally sound. They'll punch you in the mouth on offense, even though they won't explode on you. They'll punch you in the mouth on defense. They'll tighten the grip on you. You can always rely on special teams. That's what Kirk Ferentz does. And over a quarter of a century, that's why he's the winningest football coach in Big Ten history. I am curious, as long as I have your attention, Hawkeyes fans. I mean, what do you think the game plan is for Kirk Ferentz? You know, I thought it would be very hurtful to, they forced him to fire his son as offensive coordinator a couple of years ago. He still likes coaching. He still likes being with the guys. He got the Big Ten mark for the most wins of all time. I haven't heard any rumors or anything. I'm not starting any rumors. It's just a question. Does Kirk Ferentz step down at the end of this year and call it a career, a great career? Or does he keep going? It's like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, he still seems to have the energy, still seems to have the passion for it. I'm just curious if you Hawkeye fans have any inkling or any thoughts as to how much longer he ends up going there. And again, to be able to deliver a team this year that I think is playoff worthy. We're only going to have 12 teams in the college football playoffs. Maybe there's 15, 16, 17 teams that are good enough to be a playoff team. Iowa they're one of those teams. But because of the 3 losses, all of them by a razor-thin margin, they're going to be on the outside looking in when it comes down to the playoffs. But anyway, let me hear from you, Hawkeyes fans. It's your chance to vent. You've had a couple days to digest Saturday. Let it all out right here in the comment section. Always looking for that. If you are new to us here, we're here every day, by the way. And all things Big Ten, all 18 teams. And we cover the news. We analyze the news, and we give you opinion on the news. We're not afraid of opinion. We do that every single day here with the Big Ten. So if you're new, hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And you can follow us wherever you get your podcast. If you like audio only, we're there too. Apple, Spotify, the video on YouTube. Subscribe and download so you never miss a single episode. And also, if you could share, follow, and like, that helps us out too. Because if you're a Big Ten fan, I know you know other Big Ten people, and I'm presuming you're a Big Ten fan if you're checking this podcast out. Let us know. Let your friends know. Let your family know. We're out here every day. Hit the little share arrow and send this podcast their way. That will help us out a lot. We also have a website, talkbig10, 10.com, where we put all of our podcasts, and there are links there. If you click on your favorite school logo, like Iowa, there's a whole list of swag and merchandise in time for the holidays. Get an Iowa shirt, hoodie, pennants, all that stuff with the school logo on it right there. All right, I am going to tell you what we are going to do with our weekend plans. You Iowa fans are going to like this. That's all coming up here in just 1 minute on Locked On Big Ten. The NBA season is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss part of the game, you want to jump in while it's going on, live in-game betting, you could do that. Check out a fourth quarter comeback. Be part of it. That's what makes the excitement of watching games even more exciting with FanDuel. Absolutely check it out. Their app is very easy to use. You can find anything you want, point spreads, player props, futures. It's all right there. All very exciting, especially when that team is making that late run. Jump in with the live betting. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go ahead to FanDuel.com and sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you want to go to games, you need tickets. That's where Game Time comes in. Look, you want to go to a football game? Because we talk about it all the time. You talk about football with your friends. At some point, somebody's going to go, hey, let's go to a game. All right, well, I need tickets. That's where Game Time comes in. If it needs a ticket, Game Time is the app to have on your phone or your device. And not just sports, comedy shows, concerts, theater, whatever you got around the corner. All right there. If it needs a ticket, Game Time can help you get it. No hidden fees, no surprises, price-wise at checkout. I always like there's a view from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy right there on your phone. Just a couple of taps and you can go. And in fact, with their amazing deals, did you know you could go to a college football game for as little as $25? So check it out. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's less stressful than any other way to buy tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten and making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network out there everywhere. Thank you very much for that. All right. So like I said earlier, we're here every day, but we go live on the weekends. We always pick a game that we're going to go live after. And this Saturday, we're going to go live. So you get my immediate raw post-game reaction. I get yours too with real live time comments. I read them on the air. Right after the Iowa USC game this weekend. So 3:30 Eastern is the kickoff. About 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. That game will be winding down. Join us. Mark your calendar. Looking forward to it. We'll talk about that, and we'll recap all the other Big Ten games, and then we'll preview the night games as well. So that's what we do every Saturday. Have a lot of fun. Meanwhile, if you're new, hit that free subscribe button so you never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, that would be great as well. Also, let you know, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present the College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12 is your host, along with AP Coach of the Year, two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former star Jesse Holley, and all of our Locked On experts come together and preview all the games every weekend. You can check that out. It is a preview that only Locked On can do. The College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That'll do it for us. Thanks for checking us out. I can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow for Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. See you then.